Peterborough, zo'n 140 kilometer ten noorden van Londen, 200.000 inwoners. Misschien doet de naam een belletje rinkelen. Hier was de hoofdzetel van Thomas Cook, de Britse reisorganisatie die in september van dit jaar failliet ging. 1000 banen gingen hier van de ene op de andere dag verloren.
What do you want, Hal? Coffee or tea?
Helen Cross was één van die 1000 werknemers.
It brought so much prosperity to the city. With taking away that job that brought passion to the city, and it also meant a lot of people from Peterborough could go to places they never would have dreamed of before, because it gave them the opportunity to travel. So yeah, I think it will be a big blow.
Helen vond een nieuwe baan in de reissector.
What was your reaction when you saw that shocking picture of Jack Woodham at the 4-year-old floor of a hospital?
I've had every possible sympathy with families and patients.
How did you feel when you saw the photo?
Helen en haar man Steven kozen bij het referendum voor Remain, dus tegen een brexit. Nu gaat hun stem naar Labour.
9 years ago, when my son was born, it was about the same time that they came in. Previous to that, this country and locally, things were better. Things were running better. Since the Tories have got in, they've done what they always did historically, which is to basically starve the working man and keep their rich pals in pocket.
I think to me the main thing that is at stake is the NHS. My friend's a midwife. She says a lot of her fellow midwives are going off sick with stress because there's 2 midwives to 28 women.
In juni van dit jaar moesten ze in Peterborough een nieuw parlementslid kiezen bij een zogenaamde by-election. De socialisten van Labour behielden nipte zetel, met slechts 700 stemmen voorsprong op de Brexit Party. Vandaag geldt deze kieskring als een barometer voor heel het Verenigd Koninkrijk.
It's seen as such a tight battleground. Demographically, it's a city sort of in the middle of the eastern part of England. It has a lot of different communities. It's seen as a sort of fairly typical place. So if Peterborough moves one way or the other, it can be quite indicative of what's happening nationally.
Labour-leider Jeremy Corbyn kwam op campagne in Peterborough. Nigel Farage van de Brexit Party was hier en ook kopstukken van de conservatieven kwamen er langs om de lokale kandidaat te steunen met één dominant thema.
Certainly initially it's all about Brexit, and Brexit still dominates everything. But also in Peterborough, education is really important. The local primary schools have been underperforming in comparison with other areas nationally. It's very low, and that seems a big problem for the city. That's a focus. Peterborough is a city with a big green agenda. People are concerned about the state of the hospital, about the population of school classes, and about the other issues that sort of the city's facing. So those issues have come to the fore a little bit in recent weeks. But it would be wrong to say that Brexit doesn't still dominate. It does.
Ik heb een afspraak met Ruta Dalton, politiek activiste voor de conservatieven hier.
Hello. Hi. I'm Willem.
Ruta.
Nice to meet you.
Ruta komt uit Litouwen en leidt een organisatie van de lokale Litouwse gemeenschap.
For this election, I think there is no question because I was born in Soviet Union and then I saw consequences after independence in 1991. What happened to the economy and to our country and to our laws and to our mindset after the long communist regime. And I'm not saying that the Labour is communist at the moment, but they are leaning to that, their policies. So I think today's choice is much easier than you would normally have.
Ruta zetelt ook in de lokale raad van Peterborough. Ze voerde mee campagne voor de plaatselijke conservatieve parlementskandidaat.
You say yourself that you have been knocking on doors, canvassing. Do you feel that people still trust politicians?
Yeah, I think it's a challenging. I think it's a very good challenge and very good question.
So it means no.
Means no.
Hello,
Hi,
I'm Willem.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Zoe Bunter woont in een residentiële wijk van de stad.
So already almost in your backyard we have people rough sleepers.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And when it gets really cold weather, that's when it really worries me because it's nothing. There's no shelter. There's no warmth. How are people going to survive when it's really cold and frosty, and even if it snows?
Is this because of migration?
No. There's a mixture. I mean, amongst the homeless community, there are people from Eastern Europe, people from Poland and Lithuania and so on, but there are also British people, people who were born and bred in Peterborough, I have met, who are homeless. So it affects the whole population.
I'm going to have a closer look of this somewhat.
Deze mensen een woning geven, dat is voor Zoe de verantwoordelijkheid van de stad. Maar door besparingen, volgens haar, door de politiek van de conservatieven, zit ook Peterborough op het tandvlees. In de campagne worden voor Zoe deze verhalen vergeten.
Health services, housing, schools, all of that is really, really important, but it seems to have sort of fallen down the priority list. So it's just sort of taken over the consciousness of the country. I'm still undecided at the moment. I've always voted Labour, traditionally, but this time, because of Corbyn not being clear about a second referendum or where he stands on Brexit, I would rather not, and I would vote with my heart, which is to vote for Liberal Democrats.
Veel gezichten, veel verhalen, overtuigde kiezers, twijfelaars en afhakers. Maar één vraag stelde ik ze allemaal.
How is the UK going to wake up on Friday morning?
I'm afraid we are going to wake up with a Tory majority government and Boris Johnson as Prime Minister.
I really hope we wake up and it isn't another election where we're disappointed.
I hope I will wake up with the early Christmas present for Conservatives.
It is genuinely too close to call in Peterborough, and I suspect, a slightly similar position nationally.